Political battle lines are being drawn in the fight over a position widely seen as a stepping stone to Taiwan's presidency. Health Minister Chen Shih-chung handed in his resignation on Thursday morning. That's after he was officially nominated as the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's candidate for Taipei mayor the day before. The contest for control of Taiwan's capital is shaping up to be a three-horse race. Chen will face off against the main opposition Kuomintang's Jiang Wan-an. Sitting Deputy Mayor Huang Shanshan of the People First Party is also expected to throw her hat in the ring, although she has yet to formally announce her candidacy. Voters will go to the polls on November 26th. For more on the candidates running for Taipei mayor, our reporter Brian Hioe Kilpatrick spoke with Brian Hioe, founding editor of New Bloom magazine.
A year ago, Chen Shih-chung was riding a wave of public goodwill because of Taiwan's effective handling of the pandemic. But since then, the government has altered course to try to transition back to normal life. And that's not pleased everyone, of course. So do you think his chances in this race have suffered?
They definitely have. There's still people that are upset regarding the transition away from COVID-0 and towards COVID management policy. And so I think the nominating Chen is bound not to please those people. The KMT did center attacks on Chen during his period of high popularity regarding, for example, delays in vaccine purchases, because precisely I think the KMT viewed him as a threat because of the fact that he was so highly popular at that point in time. But then, of course, Taiwan has to pivot away from COVID-0. It's impossible to manage that forever. And so Chen's reputation has seen a blow as a result. He's seen as mishandling that when there's actually kind of a deliberate government move away from COVID-0. This provides a political opening then to attack Chen. Chen's reputation is so deeply tied to his performance as the Minister of Health and Welfare managing Taiwan's efforts against COVID-19 that this was seen as perhaps one of the reasons why he shouldn't run, that if things were bad or things are viewed bad, or if the verdict on the transition away from COVID-0 is still very negative, then this would affect his chances. And so the DPP running him in that sense perhaps reflects that they didn't seem to have anyone else that they would run.
Some have criticized the nomination of Chen Shih-chung instead of a younger candidate, particularly since Taipei mayorship is viewed as a stepping stone to the presidency. So do you think that this will be a factor for voters in Taipei at all?
Yeah, so I think it's actually deeply ironic here because the KMT has suffered many blows to its reputation for its pro-China image, and that includes the loss of support from young people. The KMT does not have many young, promising candidates. It's seen as a party of old people. But in Taipei, it is running Jiang Wan-an, who is one of its younger politicians at age 43. And so that is a kind of then odd comparison when you look at how much older Chen Shih-chung is. The DPP is actually the party that has much more support from young people these days. It does have young, promising, well-known candidates that it regularly fields. And so maybe this actually does reflect a kind of odd position that the DPP is in here.
Jiang Wan-an is, of course, a descendant of the former dictator Chiang Kai-shek. Do you think that this will count for or against him?
For members of the pan-green camp, of course, there will be a strong visceral reaction to the descendant of Chiang Kai-shek running for public office at such a high level. As a descendant of Chiang, he can appeal to the deep blues in that sense, that he comes from a family background, he has this history, and so forth. But then, on the other hand, he does appear to be one of the more capable young politicians of the KMT, or just one of the more capable politicians, period. And he actually does seem to be more progressive on some issues. And so being a young person and being more progressive on those issues allows him to appeal to young people. So he's actually quite a smart candidate in that sense.